You are listening to Feed the Beast, a weekly podcast exploring all things food with business partners, spouses, and your hosts, Chef Chris Paul and nutritionist Leigh-Ann Charles Paul of Everything We Eat. I hope you're hungry, because it's time to feed
your inner beast.
Welcome back to Feed the Beast on the Grit Live. I'm Leigh-Ann Charles Paul.
I'm Chris Paul.
And today our guest is Deborah Bradley from Simply Blessed Cakes. Hello, Deborah. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Give us a little spiel about Simply Blessed Cakes before we get started.
I started Simply Blessed Cakes about 8 years ago. July 24th will be our anniversary. And I make all types of wedding cakes, bridal shower cakes, baby shower cakes.
Very cool. Yeah, your cakes, we saw them on Instagram, and they're amazing.
Thank
They're really
you.
stunning.
Oh my
Thank
God.
you.
Detail.
So much detail. Like the PGW cake, you had a blue PGW shirt, and the
Right.
fibers of the cake, like, it looks just like a shirt.
Right, like you can pick it up and put it on.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, you know what it reminded me of? Up. Remember the movie Up?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could see the details in the
Right.
shirt. That's exactly what your shirt looks like, and
Thank
I
you.
loved it.
Thank you.
We're really excited to talk to you about what you're doing and share with the Philadelphia and international community out there. Before we get started, let's talk about a little bit of food news here. Chris, what do we got going on?
This one's not as upbeat as usual. It's actually concerning the food aid going to Puerto Rico. And one thing that researchers have found, specifically this professor from the University of Washington, Carla Ramos, is that they're actually just sending like junk food in boxes. And essentially what's happening is the aid is not really conducive to the federal dietary guidelines, where some people took pictures of what they got and it's like Milky Way, Twizzlers, Doritos, and like Cheez-Its. It's bad of a situation where, you know, some people are like, okay, at least we're getting something, but it's not actual food that you should like, that you should actually like eat daily, or even refer to it as like, okay, now we have our meals. And
Right.
besides that, apparently a lot of it has some substantial, I guess, nutrition, but it's like ravioli. What's the company? It's like SpaghettiOs and things like that. That's
Chef
like
Boyardee.
a can has your daily intake of sodium plus more. So there's been a lot of like kickback where it's like, all right, why aren't we sending things that make sense? And, you know, I think it's something to look into. And FEMA's, they're also saying that, you know, will people eat some of those things, you know, because she suggested, well, how about dry fruits? But then when you look at the culture, I guess in Puerto Rico, it's like if you sent a bunch of raisins and apricots rather than other things, like, will they actually eat it?
Right.
So, you know, I guess it's a whole thing that needs to be overhauled, essentially, because, I mean, it's happened before, you know, in a lot of
definitely.
aid situations
Yeah.
where, you know, they're just sending things that, I get it that it needs to be shelf stable and, you know, non-perishable, but there's a lot of better things in cans than like SpaghettiOs and, you know.
Well, it's also what you can get too. I mean, aid is one of those things. It's very difficult, and I don't know, it's an uphill battle because you've got to think of what's culturally appropriate, but then you also have to think of, where am I getting these resources from? You know, where's the money coming to get these resources?
To clarify, this isn't like things that people donated and they sent over. This is like FEMA went and bought out like Twizzlers and put them out. So this isn't like
that's
a can.
a whole different
Yeah,
story.
this isn't
Totally
like
different.
a can drive, and then you're like, oh, this is what the neighbors are giving. This is what like they're sending over. Like,
They went board.
yeah, not like where people are dumping Twizzlers in the boxes. So that's where I'm like, I don't know.
That reminds me of Native Americans when they were when reservations were first made. A lot of foods that they ate were slow releasing carbs. So a lot of those purple corns or a lot of those grains. So basically the sugars are releasing slower and it's not processing in the body as fast. So you're having less risk for diabetes and other things like that. And instead, since their bodies are so used to that, they were given a lot of fast releasing carbs, which was flour and sugars and, you know, processed and refined things. So now, I mean, if you look at the Pima Indians, they are the largest, they have the highest rates of diabetes, and one of the groups with the highest rates of diabetes in the entire world, and it's very unfortunate. And that whole history is very sad as well. But yeah, that's a whole different topic. We could definitely go into that. We'll bring in some public health people and, you know, have some conversations. But yes, let's, speaking of sugars, let's get back to Simply Blessed Cakes. So, Deborah, tell us a little more. First of all, your story, we were reading it. Very inspiring for many people out there who, I guess, you're in transitional housing. And,
Right.
you kind of had a lot happen to you in that time, and went from $16, right?
Yeah.
To now having a whole company.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah, so tell us what happened with that from your transition.
I was in a shelter, and they had a birthday committee, like a birthday club. And so I used to make like birthday cakes with box cakes at first. And everybody loved them. They thought they were amazing. And then my best friend's grandma, I was in her kitchen one day and she was making a cake. And I just asked her for the ingredients and she gave them to me. So I started with that cake. I initially started using her cake, but people were saying it was dry. Like I wasn't making it right, or it was tasting like cornbread. It just wasn't right. And so I just kept doctoring it up and people kept giving me suggestions. And now I have the butter cake that I use now. But so that like I said, that's the cake that I started with. But initially, we started because my best friend and I wanted to teach our children compassion. So one summer, we had a few meetings and we sat down and figured we're going to start selling something. So we were thinking maybe water ice or candy or lemonade. And then we're like, let's do cupcakes. So we did 2 or 3 bake sales, and we were going to take that money and just have the kids donate it to a hospital or just some children that were less fortunate than them. But while we were doing the bake sales, someone was saying that the designs were really cute, and she wanted to open up an event planning company, and she wanted to know if I could do fancier designs. So I'm like, I don't know. So I just kind of started looking up some different things online, and I noticed most of the cupcakes had fondant. And so my son's birthday was coming up, and his 10th birthday, and I just went to Michael's and bought a box of fondant and made him a birthday cake. Just 2 gift boxes with some polka dots on them. It took me 6 or 7 hours. Now I can make it in 45 minutes, but it took me forever to make the cake. And that's how it started. I put that on Facebook. And then the next cake was a Louis Vuitton bag. That took 6 or 7 hours for somebody at my job. We had none of the right materials. We delivered it in saran wrap and a cutting board because we had nothing. And then that's just how it started. It began there.
Wait a second. How did you just picked up fondant and then you were just some artist? You were Michelangelo?
Looked up some videos.
Right, no videos, no nothing. I just...
Really?
Right, yeah. So I just went and bought a box of fondant, and while I was there, someone was explaining some of the little materials and things. And so, so my third cake, it was a polo cake. So what I did was I just took my son's shirt. He had a polo shirt, and I just folded it up, and I just made the cake look like the shirt. Yeah.
You're you're a secret artist.
I'm Simply Blessed, which is where I got the name. Somebody was saying, how are you doing, all these designs without going to school? And I'm just I'm Simply Blessed. And then I'm Simply Blessed cake.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So you literally just visually replicating it, and the fondant is coming in different colors, so you're color matching, kind of pasting. Because it's sort of almost I guess, it's moldable, right? So
right, yeah. It's Play-Doh type.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I've always wondered. You see it and it looks really cool, but I'm is it hard? Is it soft?
So it depends. So ours is homemade, so ours is really soft, and it's really soft and smooth. Mm-hmm. But some of them are hard. The ones you get from certain stores are.
What is it made out of? Because you said
so ours is
sugar,
made,
right?
Powdered sugar and marshmallow.
Oh, okay.
Marshmallow.
Oh, that's where you get that.
Oh, okay. That makes sense then. That's where the Play-Doh-y part comes in.
Right.
I see. Yeah, marshmallows are pretty more malleable. You can do whatever you want with them.
Right. Yeah.
Cool. So the birthday club, and then this started, and then what happened from there? From then to now?
Well, so I've slowly been moving my business out of my home. That's been, really hard. So right now I'm at the Enterprise Center, the kitchen. That's what I use to pretty much bake and do everything. But it's definitely been a process. It started off from home, and then, people got word. I've done cake wars. I've done a cake for Questlove, for Black Thought. We've done a lot of amazing things.
That's really great. The home chef, there's so much value to the home chef as well. And we were going to say, we were looking at your cakes, we're she should enter cake wars.
So you already did it.
Right. I did cake wars. So I've never, I don't have a lot of time to watch TV because I'm working all the time. So I had never saw Cake Wars, but people kept saying, you should be on Cake Wars. So I applied for it about 2 years ago. I did the show. I didn't have my partner with me, so that kind of threw me off. So I didn't win. I failed the first round, the tasting round. But it was still an amazing experience. We went to California. It stayed for 3 days. It was amazing.
Oh, that's cool. Good marketing too, I'm guessing.
Right,
So,
right. Awesome. Yeah.
So you have a partner with you, and what does your partner do?
I don't have a partner anymore. There's just me. But he used to do like the baking and like the artwork. A lot of like the some. If you go back further on my Instagram, he does like the handwriting. Like it's really fancy handwriting. Yeah.
So it's just you running the business
It's
now?
just me now. Yeah.
Okay. And do you have interns? Do you work alone or?
So right now my children help out somewhat. For the most part, it's me, but they like help with the dishes and that kind of thing. But I am looking for interns. So I'm looking to start an intern program. I have about 17 applicants. And I'm thinking maybe in September we're going to get started. I'm just kind of like playing around with it right now. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking to do.
So what's your favorite cake that you've made so far?
People ask me that all the
I know,
time.
they say that with the chefs too, and I'm like, I gotta ask the
so
question.
many, right? I think the cakes I like the most are the ones that look real, like the PGW shirt, the polo shirt. I have like a purse that has like a Beyonce magazine in it. Like just the ones that look the most realistic are my favorite.
Cool, very cool. So what are the plans for the future now? I mean, the internship program, yes,
Right.
and obviously you're going to expand. Real quick though, you said you started in the home kitchen, so I'm assuming you were baking all these cakes in your
Just a
regular oven?
Yes.
Is it convection?
No, just a regular oven. So it would take about 2 to 3 days to bake. Like literally like morning to night because there's so many of them. Now I can do those same cakes at the kitchen for about 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours.
That's exciting. We're excited to see where you take everything. So what is the future?
So I think I want to have a bakery. I'm saying I think because I'm not the type that wants to manage a whole business. I kind of want to be in the back just making cakes. I feel like if I could get a partner, then, I would do a bakery. Otherwise, I'm pretty comfortable where I am. Maybe I do want to do some classes though. Like I am talking with another baker. We're thinking about opening up classes for at the Enterprise Center. So.
Oh yeah, to have people just sort of come by and do
Right.
a little DIY sort of
Right,
cake building.
right.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing with a storefront, right? I guess even from a chef perspective, you really want to focus on
Yes.
like your skill set and then sort of have
Right.
that face someone just to be like, hey, like here's the cakes, like here's
Right, because it's so draining. Like it takes a lot of energy to like manage people, and I feel like once I start using that energy to manage and do all that other stuff, it kind of takes away from the cakes. Like I
That's
need
true.
to be, So.
No, that's a good insight.
I love that you said that because for a lot of our audience members out there who are thinking of being entrepreneurs, that's one of the things is like, I don't want to be stripped away from my craft
Right.
by handling the business side. So like you said, it is really important sometimes to think about having a partner that knows those things so that you can focus on these beautiful cakes.
Right.
Because
Right.
the reality is the business grew because of your cakes, right?
Right.
Yeah, I guess that's cool. Yeah, coming from the Enterprise Center now, you're able to just bake at a larger scale, but you're still by yourself, right? So your kids and how are you turning out orders? I guess I saw your recent post with I think you made a cake for Rich Dollars and it said like, order, call the order. What's your system like? Are you literally on the phone taking the orders or?
No,
like,
so I do have another person that answers the phones.
Oh, okay, that's good.
She answers the phones, and so, but it's still mostly so they'll call to place the order. A lot of it is handled through email, and then of course they pick up at the Enterprise Center.
And do you create the creative process? Do you work with people and create it together, or they just tell you their vision and you just create it?
For the most part, they send me a picture. Sometimes they'll say like, this is what I want, this is the theme, just do whatever. Like, I don't even care what you do, just, do whatever. But for the most part, they all send me something and I'll like add my own twist to it, so.
Now, do you ever do like duplicates in the sense like if someone's like, I really want that, and you're like, all right, I'm going to make like 3 Louis Vuitton bags just in case, or do you try to follow like a customized creative process?
Well, we do let people know that we can't, because a lot of the cakes aren't ours, so I can't, guarantee that it's going to look exactly like the picture that they send me. Even if it's my cake, sometimes it's hard to make the same exact cake, but they usually understand that. Like, they're usually fine with that. Like, they usually want their own unique cake anyway, so.
Do you add some sort of personal touch? Like, do you add, like, a little stamp or something, an initial?
I don't, but I was thinking of that one day, like maybe like a little heart on the back or something like that. I was kind of thinking about that.
Yeah, trademark.
Right.
Yeah, like an SB cursive.
Right.
Into a heart.
Right.
I don't think that's possible. But,
but you never know.
You never know. You're the artist.
Right.
You started from like baking simple pound cakes into like buttermilk manifestos.
Now, are you still doing cupcakes and things of that sort, or are you more focused on just the cakes?
We do cupcakes. We do cake pops, but for the most part, it is cakes. Yeah, people come to us for the cakes.
So, explain the different process from, obviously we know how larger cakes are made. How about the cake pops, though? Because I've always, I eat them at Starbucks, and I'm like, okay, it's kind of gooey inside. It's not like 100%, but it's hard. I think it's like a cake on a little stick. Can you explain that process for those other people that are wondering?
So, it's pretty much just cake, crumbled cake, mixed with icing. Mine's is not really gooey, though. Like, mine aren't. I should have brought you off some. I'm sorry.
Deborah.
Right, I'm sorry. So, and then it's just coated in chocolate. So, you put them in the freezer, let them get, cold. Then let them sit out for like maybe 10 minutes. And then you dip them in the chocolate.
So the batter is mixed with icing, you're saying?
No, the cake is already made.
Oh,
yeah, the cake is made. Yeah.
Okay, so you're not baking out. Yeah, you're thinking like of baking out pops, right?
No, obviously I'm thinking like you put them in like an ice tray and you just stick the things in it.
Right.
Not an ice tray, but
a container.
A cupcake.
Yeah, but we mold them by hand, so we don't have I've tried different ways. Like they do have like cupcake baking pan.
Yeah.
I've tried to do that, but it didn't work as well.
Yeah, because they don't seem to stick.
Right.
And get fluffy. They get that gooey, like dense texture.
Right.
But you mold it individually.
Right. So once we mix it with the ice, and then we just mold little balls and then put the stick in, put it in the freezer, and then coat them with chocolate. Yeah.
So I don't know about anybody else's thing, but we're really excited to take one of your DIY classes because this sounds really interesting to me.
Right.
How about you?
Yeah, definitely. I think in the Enterprise Center, the kitchen space is conducive to that because you have that large classroom setting. I think it's a matter of, marketing and promoting the event, and everyone likes desserts. I know they recently did like a wine and painting class there. So, if you pair something that has a little bit of alcohol, maybe a little bit of booze.
You could create a cake and then have people paint it with like icing colors.
That's different, right?
So many options.
Like here's this beautiful cake. Now make it beautiful.
Right. Well, and that's kind of what we're thinking about doing. So it would be, so we would give people the materials, almost like that. The new thing where they're like
paint and sip.
Right. Yeah. Right. So we're thinking maybe we'll like have like the materials out there and we'll have like, everything that you need, and then we'll be creating a cake and then you kind of create it with us. Like
I like it. Mm-hmm. Well, other than that, any other future plans? 10 years from now, what are we looking at other than, you being in the kitchen baking and having a business partner up front?
Wow.
Not to put you on the spot.
Right. Maybe I'll just like really be doing bigger cakes. Like that would probably maybe one cake a week or one cake a month. That would be awesome. It's like an amazing, enormous type cake.
So you have more time to spend on it. And...
Right. Like really detailed cakes. Instead of because this past week I did like 14 cakes and 17 dozen cupcakes. But that, I can't put as much detail into each one the way I would want to. But if I could do just like one cake every 2 weeks, that would be awesome.
Yeah, so we love watching your cakes as you make them, and we love seeing the end product. It's beautiful, and who would have known? My grandmother makes cakes, and I'll still say she makes the best pound cake that I've ever had.
Right.
But, we'll taste yours, I'm sure. I won't tell her. But, cakes are really beautiful to see, and the Kardashians had posted something, I guess, like their 6-year-old birthday with the unicorns, and there was this cake, and all this glitter just spilled out, and it's like,
really? Wow.
Oh my God. Well, it's not real glitter, it's edible glitter.
Right.
But it's just amazing to see what you can do with cakes and for kids. So I'm really excited. We are really excited to see where you take this, and where can we keep following you?
So on Instagram, Simply Blessed Cakes. On Facebook, Simply Blessed Cakes, or
Simply Blessed Cakes.
Yeah.
Across the board.
And the website as well, right? Simply Blessed Cakes.
Cakes.com, yes.
Yeah, and I guess one thing I wanted to touch back on, granted that you took this recipe, right, from and then you sort of build it up on it because you need a base. You sort of need what's your base cake?
Right.
I guess you don't have any formal training. Have you thought of like maybe venturing out and like going out, or are you just like going through the creative process and seeing like what you could do?
So I feel like I want to maybe go to school for like I feel like I want to, but I want to wait because my daughter now is in 10th grade, so I kind of want to wait for her to like get out of school because like in the beginning when I first started, it took up a lot of I love the cake so much, it took up a lot of my time. Yeah. So just trying to balance things out. I do want to go to school for and just learn some different things.
Yeah, because it's always one thing I think like opens up an avenue, right? Because it's like you already know what you're good at, and then it's like what else can I learn?
Right.
It opens like a whole nother can of possibilities.
But it also seems like every time I try to do use some of the fancier tools or that kind of thing that I see on YouTube and that kind, it never works. It never works for me. So, but I still do want to go to school just to see what.
See what's out there. See what the industry's doing.
Right.
All right. Well, we'll keep following you and seeing where you go, and hopefully eat your large, amazing cakes.
Right. Hopefully, right.
Yes. So thank you, Deborah, for coming on. It was been great talking to you.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, definitely. So before we close out, great highlight, local entrepreneur, Love City Brewery opened up about early spring, on 10th and Hamilton behind Union Transfer. It's a great spot to drink beer. Apparently it was a lot of different things. It used to be a place where they would work on the carts, the trolley carts. So the ceilings are super high. And then they worked on elevators there. And then it was a boxing rink or
MMA gym.
An MMA gym.
So it's just a huge facility.
Huge facility. But the ceilings are super high. So they actually have an area where, a garage area where they can pull in food trucks. And so they're hosting food trucks there. So if people are interested to pop up, any food truck businesses out there that want to get some money or business, just pull in there, and they don't have food, they just sell beer, and it's a great facility. The staff is wonderful, very accommodating.
They really good beers too.
Oh yeah, really definitely. I'm on my hiatus, so obviously I didn't taste any of those beers. I didn't really want one though. Have you been there?
No, I haven't been there.
Yeah, so you should definitely check it out. I guess that's considered Old City.
Yeah, that area, or is that
Callow Hill?
Callow Hill
area.
Now there's all these new neighborhood names that weren't there before.
It's
yeah, it's I just saw some other name that just popped up. I'm I can't remember. I'm what is this? What is this new neighborhood? It's not real.
With all the hipsters.
I know. But anyway, thank you all for listening and tuning in to Feed the Beast. Remember to check us out on Everything We Eat Philly on our Instagram to follow us on where we're popping up with our food truck. And we'll be hosting a big reveal of a painting of our food truck. So we'll send all that out there on Instagram. And make sure to check us out on everythingweeat.com as well for any future events.
We have Audrey Claire Cook coming up August 2nd.
Yes.
So be sure to check out their site, audreyclairecook.com, and you'll be able to get event tickets and everything. It should be very elaborate, about 5-6 course dinner paired with wine.
So other than that, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Deborah, again, thank you so much for coming here and talking to us. We're very excited to see what you do with these cakes and your creative process. And congratulations so far on everything you've done.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Yes, definitely. So tune back in next week for another episode of Feed the Beast with Chris and Leigh-Ann.
Hello, everyone. This is Ryan Martin, the production consultant for The Grit Live. If you enjoy our programming, the most important thing you can do to support us is share each episode with your friends and family. You can also leave us a rating and a review on the podcast player of your choice to help others find us. Thank you for listening.